Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, a name that once dominated WWE with 390 million fans, is also a Hollywood box office powerhouse, starring in blockbuster films that have grossed hundreds of millions of dollars. But where does he stand now? A $100 million blockbuster turned into a flop. Over 5 million followers vanished in just 5 months. And the image of a billion-dollar star crumbled at an exponential rate. From reigning over the global entertainment empire, The Rock has become a living testament to the harsh truth. The higher you climb, the harder you fall. So what exactly happened? How did a legend once celebrated by the world become the center of doubt, criticism, and ultimately face the betrayal of his own fans? It all began decades ago when The Rock was not just a star, but a cultural phenomenon. He burst onto the scene like a storm, bringing with him chiseled muscles, a radiant smile, and an explosive energy that captivated millions. From a man who started with nothing, The Rock rose to embody the American dream. A true people's champ, someone who could electrify an entire stadium with a single phrase, "Can you smell what The Rock is?" The Rock's journey was written in glorious chapters, marked by 10 world championship reigns and iconic matches at WrestleMania, where tens of millions of viewers worldwide sat glued to their screens, awaiting his entrance. From a face once booed by crowds, The Rock transformed into the ultimate entertainment superstar. A master of mic work with sharp, witty, and biting promos that turned opponents into punchlines and audiences into fervent fans. Every time he spoke, arenas erupted like a modern-day Roman Colosseum. With The Rock playing the invincible gladiator, battling and weaving a vivid story in the ring. Beyond the ring, The Rock conquered Hollywood. From a former wrestler doubted for his acting chops, he quickly rose to become a box office king, starring in blockbuster films that grossed billions globally. In 1 year, he topped Forbes' list, earning over $120 million, making him the highest-paid actor in the world. But was that all fans adored about The Rock? No, because outside the spotlight, he continued to cement his image as a people's hero. Stories of him stopping his car to sign autographs for fans or gifting a house to a veteran spread across social media, burnishing his larger-than-life persona. On Instagram, every Don Gym photo or short motivational message garnered millions of likes from his 390 million followers, making him one of the most influential figures in the digital world. At one point, public discourse even seriously entertained the idea of The Rock running for President of the United States, a clear testament to his influence transcending entertainment. Yet, just when his star seemed untouchable, when fans were still singing his praises and the media lauded him, few noticed the first cracks forming around The Rock's monumental legacy. Specifically in 2016, while fans were still showering The Rock with unwavering admiration, a surprising moment unfolded during the filming of The Fate of the Furious. The Rock posted on Instagram publicly criticizing some co-stars, calling them unprofessional and cowards. Though he didn't name names, it was widely understood he was targeting Vin Diesel, the lead star of the Fast and Furious franchise. The issue wasn't just the content of the post. It was a shock wave, shattering the perfect hero image The Rock had carefully crafted over years. Fans began to wonder, why did The Rock choose to publicly criticize his colleagues instead of addressing the issue privately? This didn't align with the image of a man who consistently inspired and united others. Moreover, when Vin Diesel responded discreetly, emphasizing that he considered The Rock family, it only highlighted The Rock's lack of tact. For the first time, the public saw an imperfect The Rock, someone willing to prioritize his ego over teamwork. From that moment, the image of the people's champion began to shift, replaced by a question. Was everything The Rock said and did merely a performance? As doubts about his authenticity grew, so did public scrutiny, leading to an even bigger question. A key part of The Rock's brand has always been his larger-than-life physique and perfect musculature. On social media, he frequently shared videos of grueling workouts, massive meals, and his philosophy of blood, sweat, and respect. But by 2022, as The Rock turned 50, people started to notice something unusual. How could someone at that age maintain a physique surpassing even athletes in their prime? The first explanation that came to mind for many was that The Rock might be using steroids. This wasn't a baseless suspicion. Fitness experts and fans pointed out that The Rock's physique at 50 appeared unnatural compared to his body at 30. Although there was no concrete evidence of him admitting to steroid use, heated discussions on platforms like Reddit and posts on X sparked a massive controversy. Many, after debates and analyses, assumed The Rock was using steroids. This steroid speculation cut like a sharp blade into the hardworking hero image The Rock had spent decades building. The public, once enamored with his massive muscles and blood, sweat, and respect mantra, now viewed him with skepticism. Was it all just a chemically enhanced act? On X and Reddit, posts comparing The Rock's body at 50 to his physique at 30 spread like wildfire, with thousands of comments labeling him a fraud or a lab product. One X post garnering over 40,000 likes stated, "The Rock talks about hard work, but those muscles didn't come from the gym. They came from a vial." Despite the lack of definitive proof, this wave of criticism shook the foundation of The Rock's legacy, turning the people's champ into a question mark in the eyes of his fans. If the steroid speculation was merely a crack, the subsequent scandals were sledgehammers that shattered The Rock's career, exposing a version of him that seemed hollow, self-centered, and hypocritical. So what exactly happened? To answer this, we first need to revisit Black Adam, a film that wasn't just a failure, but a catastrophe that tarnished The Rock's public image, driven by his own arrogance and empty promises. Specifically, for over a decade, The Rock boldly promoted Black Adam historic milestone, a project that would reshape the hierarchy of the DCU. As both the lead actor and producer, he hyped expectations, convincing the public that Teeth Adam, a lesser-known anti-hero from DC Comics, would become the centerpiece of a new era. Even teasing a potential epic showdown with Superman at Comic-Con and on X. The Rock dubbed Black Adam the Phase 1 of the DCU, promising a grand future with Henry Cavill returning as Superman, igniting fans' excitement for a potential game-changing DC blockbuster. High-profile promotional events, from teasers at DC Fandom to the release date announcement at Times Square, fueled public belief that Black Adam would be a billion-dollar hit on par with The Rock's previous successes like Furious 7 or Jumanji. But reality hit fans like a slap in the face. The film, hyped as a blockbuster, debuted with a weak script and shallow storytelling, with characters like Hawkman and Dr. Fate failing to captivate. Critics quickly slammed Black Adam as an emotionless mess and lacking personality. The character of Black Adam, a relatively obscure anti-hero, couldn't draw mainstream audiences like Batman or Superman, leaving many questioning why Warner Bros. Poured hundreds of millions into such a risky project. With a production budget of $260 million plus an estimated $80 million in marketing, the film grossed just $393 million globally, a disappointing figure compared to expectations and dwarfed by The Rock's earlier hits like Furious 7 $1.5 billion, Jumanji $1.7 billion. A Reddit user summed it up: "Black Adam is a side character, not a mainstream superhero. The Rock thought he could turn a nobody into a star just with his name. That's laughable." Yet, the box office failure wasn't what infuriated the public most. It was The Rock's blatant dishonesty. When Variety and Deadline exposed Black Adam's losses of tens of millions, The Rock publicly denied the reports, claiming on X that the film would generate $5,272 million in profit and comparing it to Captain America, the First Avenger. Fans erupted in outrage, mocking him. Does The Rock think we're fools? Lying about profits to save face is shameful. The Rock not only failed to deliver a quality film, but also tore apart his authentic image with stubbornness and a lack of transparency. The public's disappointment went beyond the movie. More critically, they felt betrayed by someone they once trusted. But was this enough for The Rock to recognize his mistakes and change course? The answer is no. Instead, Black Adam was merely the opening act for a far greater tragedy. The situation unfolded when wildfires devastated Hawaii, The Rock's homeland. To show his love for his roots and regain fans' admiration, The Rock partnered with Oprah Winfrey to launch a relief fund, an action that should have reinforced his people's hero image. Initially, the public embraced the initiative with overwhelming support, believing that The Rock, with his deep connection to Hawaii and an estimated $800 million fortune, would lead with a substantial contribution. But a bitter truth soon emerged, striking fans like a dagger to the heart. The Rock contributed only a small amount while urging ordinary fans, many struggling with monthly bills or working hard to support their families, to open their wallets to aid the victims. The X community erupted with unprecedented outrage, as if the world had collectively turned its back on him. One post shared over 300,000 times read, "The Rock sitting on a mountain of money asks us to save Maui. Does he think we're fools?" The public's anger wasn't just about his modest contribution, but stemmed from a deeper sense of betrayal. Fans felt he was exploiting a tragedy as a stage to polish his tarnished image after the Black Adam debacle, a cheap performance to salvage his crumbling reputation. The Rock's motives, perhaps driven by a desire to maintain the philanthropic hero image he was once celebrated for, backfired as the public saw a hypocrite living in an ivory tower, disconnected from the idol they once admired. What's more, The Rock's response only fueled the fire of outrage. He posted a video explanation with a polished hollow tone as if reciting a pre-written PR script crafted by his image management team. The public's outrage reached a boiling point, flooding The Rock's post with comments like, "The Rock's apology video feels like a cheap commercial. No remorse, no sincerity, just a poorly acted performance to mask his inauthenticity." The Maui controversy wasn't just a scandal. It was the pinnacle of hypocrisy, exposing a hollow version of The Rock. Devoid of the man who once captivated millions with, "Can you smell what The Rock is cooking?" Fans once willing to forgive minor missteps now turned their backs entirely. Gone were the roaring Rocky chants in stadiums and the endless lines of fans waiting for autographs, replaced by a silence laced with contempt. On forums, people branded him a hollow star, someone who had personally torched his own legacy. The fallout was staggering. Over 5 million Instagram followers vanished in just 5 months. Sponsors grew wary, and the name The Rock, once synonymous with greatness, now evoked only disappointment and mockery. This collapse wasn't just a loss of trust. It was the shattering of a legend. The Rock, once an icon of the American dream, became a faded shadow trapped by his own ambition and inauthenticity. The story of The Rock offers a profound lesson about the fragile nature of fame and glory. For years he was hailed as a living legend. From iconic WWE matches to billion-dollar Hollywood blockbusters, from the people's champ worshipped by millions to the box office king admired worldwide. At his peak, it seemed unthinkable that his star could ever fade. Yet reality proves that glory is never permanent and fame is not a shield against flaws. What's striking is that the more one is celebrated, the easier it is to fall into the illusion of invincibility. The Rock walked like a titan, believing his reputation, public adoration, and massive revenue and follower counts could mask any misstep. But that very pride made each fall more devastating. This story shows clearly that what keeps a person grounded is not their shine, but their true inner values. Fame can lift you to the top, but only character and sincerity can keep you there. For all of us, even those not in the spotlight, this is a reminder to build lasting value from within, to never lose ourselves in fleeting glory, and to stay humble even at the height of success.